run a one-man band out there behind his seat and leave a comment below. This is a make-or-break season for him. He's got to make an impact. Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the show. It is Wednesday, July 3rd. Hope all of you are having a good start to your week. And now into hump day, we're looking to get some funny conversation, some interesting conversation, I should say, because the Philadelphia Eagles have a lot going on. The New York Giants have a lot going on, or do they? But anyway, welcome back to the show, Wednesday the 3rd, the Brandon Mason Show. A little organized this morning. I apologize trying to get my desk all set up. But look, the Philadelphia Eagles got a lot going on. Saquon Barkley, a lot going on. The NFL is back. Looking forward to letting some people come into our live stream. We saw our play-by-plays, and now we're bringing a lot of people into our morning show as they connect and get started used to seeing us every morning at 10 a.m. But need to say, we have the Philadelphia Eagles. Saquon Barkley, did he make the right decisions to leave the New York Giants, head to Philadelphia right down the road? What actually happened? So let's pull that up right now. Why did Saquon Barkley leave the New York Giants? I'm going to break that down right now. Really easy for people to understand. Was he loved or hated there? That's the biggest question. Fans, teammates, people, did they want him there? Did they give him any money? Did they offer him enough money outside of franchise tags and all that? People are like, look, they went out. We're going to get to in a second Daniel Jones, what they actually did in New York, why they paid him, why they let Saquon Barkley go. And I got to tell you, watching Saquon Barkley head down the street to Philadelphia, I got to say the New York Giants fans must be sick, right? Like legit right down the street. What are we talking? Freaking 20, 30 miles. I mean, I grew up in that area, so I know it very, very well. The minute you leave the New York Giants and you go to Philadelphia, it's a slap in the face for many reasons. It's also in the same freaking conference, the NFC East, which we're going to go into that too toward the end of the show this morning. But Saquon Barkley, it comes down to, was he loved or hated? Did they want him there? Did they appreciate him? Even at lows, he still played good, right? Like I have other pictures of him when he was playing there. When he was at New York, it was like, look, this was the dream. Saquon Barkley was a loyal guy, grew up out there in Pennsylvania, literally down the street from New York as well. Grew up there, went to Penn State, even went to high school in Pennsylvania. Loyal guy, gets to Penn State, balls out, goes to New York, and then there's a concern. They're not giving him what he thinks he deserves, what his family thinks he deserves. And so here's a picture here of Saquon Barkley. Balling out in college, doing the damn thing, obviously, but they just didn't give him the ultimate respect. I mean, you might want to say, a lot of people might want to say injuries caused this, which is probably true. Once you have a knee injury, a leg injury, you start saying, I love you, Saquon Barkley, but you're injury prone. That's a problem for a lot of Philadelphia Eagles fans, a lot of Philadelphia Eagles organization, people in the back office, front office, are like, look, we like Saquon Barkley, but if he's going to get hurt and he's not on the field, we can't give him that money. The Eagles are thinking different, obviously, like, hey, we can bring Saquon Barkley back to life, bring him that heartbeat that we need down here in Philadelphia to be fantastic, to be great, and pair him up with Jalen Hurts. And I got a lot going on here. I'm going to pull up here in a second because I like Saquon Barkley. The build of Saquon Barkley, similar to like Christian McCaffrey, that like little shorter, stocky frame. I'm not saying short, but shorter. He's not walking around 6'2", 6'3". He's built like a legit running back. He's built like what you want behind the offensive line, and he showed that in high school. He showed it in college out at Penn State, and then he showed it in New York. After an injury, it was like, well, we're not too sure. And then they started kind of tampering with his contract. Like, look, everybody knows he's waiting for a deal. Are the Giants going to offer him a big deal? They slapped the franchise tag on Saquon and goes, look, I just want to ball out. I'm loyal. I want to be here. He showed zero signs of wanting to leave the New York Giants. People are like, look, he's a great guy. People love him here. But then the problem is this. They got to make decisions, right? Like a team has to make decisions. An organization has to make some serious decisions. And when I pull the pictures up and look at it, I couldn't even picture Saquon Barkley in another uniform because of the loyalty he brought to the Giants, to the NFL. I was like, this is great, great fit. down the street. He's got all his family, all his friends, all the childhood memories. They're showing up at his games. It's amazing. When he gets traded and goes somewhere else, like, hey, you're going to lose that fan base. You're going to lose all your friends and family. That's not going to be good. But flip the script. Saquon Barkley goes to the Philadelphia Eagles, and people are like, all right, I don't know if this is a good thing or not. Slap in the face to the New York Giants. I know a lot of people on the Giants organization and some of the players are like, look, we understand it. Like, we understand why he went to the Philadelphia Eagles. He just wasn't getting the money. He wasn't getting the money. It all comes down to the simple fact that he was loyal. He was there. He was balling. He was breaking tackles. Some injuries, even on the slower season, some of the season where I was like, didn't play that well, didn't have the dream year that you would expect from a big-time, franchise main guy at the running back position. He still played better than a lot of running backs out there that are getting paid money. So apparently the Philadelphia Eagles said, hey, we'll take him. So when it comes down to Philadelphia Eagles news, rumors, and all that, the connection and what we're going to get into right now, he left obviously due to money. He left from not being loved out there in New York, and people are like, hey, he's not that good. So now what happens next? Jalen Hurts and the Eagles' needs for 2024. Now that they brought in Saquon Barkley, they have their team lined up. They lost, obviously, Jason Kelce, the center position. That was a big loss. The main contribution of the offensive line, people that if you watch the Eagles, if you watch any football, maybe you do know or you don't know, the center is a big forefront of that offensive line, making a lot of plays, calling a lot of reads before the ball is snapped. They're taking a look at the linebacker positions, calling out whatever the Mike linebacker is. We'll go into detail on that later. But they call out Mike 55, Mike 52, whatever. The offensive line now knows their positions, who they're going to block. So they lost their center, Jason Kelce. That's the quarterback of the offensive line, right? Behind that, obviously, you have Jalen Hurts. That connection with the center and Jalen Hurts, that's also important. But then all of a sudden, Saquon Barkley says, I'm going to Philadelphia. And I know Jason Kelce was sitting back going, well, maybe I should come out of retirement and get my ass back on the field because then I can ball out and play with another running back who wants to ball out and play and win this season. I know they ended a little salty, but let's talk about for a second the main conversation with the Philadelphia Eagles, and that's Jalen Hurts. At the end of last season, I had these conversations even before the playoffs and into the playoffs. The main focus, and I love Jalen Hurts. I love watching him in college, played great at Alabama. Then he went to Oklahoma. We know how Tua and him, obviously Tua stepped up, won the championship game, national championship game. And Jalen Hurts could not get it done. Nick Saban benched him, brought in Tua. Tua got it done, and it was like, is he better than Jalen Hurts, right? And then you get to the NFL, and you go, both of them are good quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts seemed to be stepping up a lot more, making plays, getting it done, the Philadelphia Eagles. But my conversation still, and I pulled this picture up again to understand, it's the motivation. I love Jalen Hurts, and I hope we're going to get him on the show and have a little fun this season as we move forward and start bringing people on. We start all the marketing, the mass media, all that on our platform. As you know, right now, this is the morning show. We're getting started. We're introducing it. As we get started and start all the freaking marketing material and guys come on the show, you're going to see a lot of people coming in here. I'm hoping to get Jalen Hurts on here. We already have a lot of contacts with Jalen Hurts. I'm from the area as well, up there. Born in Pennsylvania, grew up in New Jersey, so we have a lot of those contacts. So I'm not throwing shade at Jalen Hurts. I love Jalen Hurts. Even in college, love watching him, like I said. Get into the NFL, I gave him a lot of praise. He's so poised. I get that. Being poised is great. We just kind of show that, But I got to tell you, what I think the Eagles fans needed this last season was a lot more than just that poised look. I think they needed this from Jalen Hurts. They needed someone out there that's got expression, that's got motivation, that's pushing his players, the teammates, say, let's get it done. Let's go. Let's move. Let's make things happen. Let's get it the fuck done. I think they were missing a lot of that. And I'm not saying that he can't step on the field and be poised. A good play comes down, gets everybody organized. Let's win the game. I got that. You throw an interception, he looks like this. He scores a touchdown, he looks like this. And I get it. Hey, keep everything even keel. I understand. But let's get a little bit of excitement for your fan base, which we're going to get into in a second with the Eagles fans, how you guys feel. Are they the best or the worst in the NFL. We're going to go down that lane here in a second. But I love the Eagles. I love Jalen Hurts. I'm not saying I'm an Eagles fan, but I'm saying I love how the organization operates. I love how they have a tough atmosphere. They have a tough fan base. It's very hard to play in Philadelphia. They're bringing in great players. Saquon Barkley shows up. They needed that piece in the backfield to add to their depth chart, someone that can get it done in between the tackles, make plays, catch passes, everything, you name it. If he can stay, on the field, healthy, ready to go, I really like what he could bring to the table. I'm also going to get into the NFC East conversation with the Eagles, the Commanders. I'm going to get into a second what I say about the Commanders. I can't stand the name Commanders. I've, for the sake of conversation, without being too political, Washington Redskins was the name of the team, right? That's what it was. Like, it was like the Aunt Jemima syrup. Like, can we just keep it the Washington Redskins? I'm just a big fan of the Washington Redskins name, and a hell of a lot less a fan of the Commanders. It sounds like an expansion team from somewhere else or another freaking sport. It's just awkward to me. But all I'm saying is, right now, watching the Philadelphia Eagles, watching Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley being there, having the coaching staff getting going, the morale, the opportunity. The Eagles just need to have the right receiving targets and focus on the offensive line. Losing Jason Kelce is a lot bigger deal than people understand. Playing running back my whole life, high school, college, and then getting to the Giants for a short period of time, coming down to the Miami Dolphins, being in the locker room, seeing what's going on. The offensive line is so goddamn important, and the center is a major component of that line. And losing Jason Kelce, they got big shoes to fill there, and they need to have a strong receiver core to make up for it. Jalen Hurts has to work on play action with Saquon Barkley, giving him the ball, working on play action, hitting those hot routes. He's going to need that. And like I said, more excitement, I believe, from the Eagles ball club. More excitement from Jalen Hurts leading that motivation. If we get him on the show, I'm going to call him out and say, hey, can we get a freaking excitement? Can we get some noise in here? Like, can we get it rocking? And again, I'll pull that picture up to show you even this kind of thing. Like, show something, right? Like, show some emotion. Like, you love what you're doing. You're excited. After the game, you're pumped. During the game, you're pumped. And I look at this picture here. Saquon Barkley, they met, had some conversation, obviously. And all of a sudden, that's the noise. Saquon Barkley is in Philadelphia. So we'll see how that goes. Obviously, due to money and not being loved and all that. From Pennsylvania, going out there, and the Giants did not give him the money. They gave it to Daniel Jones. We're going to get to that here in a second. Now, let's get to the Eagles fans. Are they the worst in the chat right now? Are the Eagles fans the best or the worst in the NFL? Drop the dice in the chat and put in the chat right now. Are the Eagles fans the best or the worst in the NFL? Right now, if you're in here right now in the chat, drop it in there, because I got to tell you, all the Cowboys fans, all the team, when you show up to play in Philly, you know what time it is, right? Like, they're taking no mercy. They're burning shit out in the freaking, where the parking lot is. They got fights going on. They got some concerns out there. Shit is happening. You can't even walk into the stadium with the Cowboys jersey on because they're going to be slapping people. Like, this is just part of the culture that the Eagles bring to the stadium. They bring to the locker room. They bring to the fan base. So we're going to show this picture here right now. How do you feel about the Eagles fans? I mean, they show up like this. They're yelling. They're screaming. They're obnoxious. They're crazy. Like, I'm just saying, it's great for a lot of reasons, right? Like, they bring a lot of morale. They show up. They're literally the next person on the field. Like, I'm just saying, you got all the guys on the field. They are, in fact, the 12th player. Like, they're out there screaming. You can't even walk by them with another jersey on. If you're yelling when your team's on the field, they're trying to shut you up and hush you. Like, this is a big part of that locker room, right? Like, I'm just saying, I'm not trying to say that they, they're bad people or good people. I'm just saying they are that problem child out there for a lot of reasons, right? Like, they're out there getting it done. I got another picture too. Check this guy out. I think I got a picture here of that. This is the guy you're going to run into. Like, you come into the stadium and like, this guy's out here going crazy, right? So, I mean, this is a big part of why they play football. This is a big part. These are people paying for tickets. These are people that give you that next opportunity to win games. When the offense is on the field, the opponent's on the field, and they're screaming and yelling and you can't hear. This is a big part of what is going on, right? Like I will tell you, playing on any stadium, they bring the excitement, the morale, the energy, and they are the 12th man on the field. They do cause havoc, and I got to tell you, whether you believe they're the worst or the best fans, they bring attitude and they're a problem. And I think that's a big part this season for the Philadelphia Eagles. You got Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley coming in. Then you got the Eagles fans. They really need to focus on the center for the offensive line and then also the receiver core and position. Let's move on for a second. So we're talking about Saquon Barkley leaving the New York Giants, right? He goes to the Eagles, and you look around and go, why did he leave money? And you go, they gave Daniel Jones $160 million. He got like a 4 or 5 year contract, whatever it was, $160 million. Is Daniel Jones worth $160 million? And you go, Saquon Barkley didn't get anything. And you're like, and I talked about this end of last season. So heading into this season, it's a big goddamn deal because a lot of people that were watching this happen, they're like, hey, we want the Giants to be good this year. Well, if you don't spread the money around and pay, like even freaking Tom Brady was taking less money trying to bring in players. Daniel Jones to collect $160 million, if you ask me. I'm happy for Daniel Jones. Happy for his family. You making money, good for you. But I will tell you this. The Giants, I believe, made a bad decision for a couple reasons. A, you didn't pay Saquon Barkley. If you don't want Saquon Barkley, didn't want him there, that's fine. But they didn't pay him. B, they gave Daniel Jones probably $100 million more dollars than anybody in the National Football League was willing to pay. So now you paid virtually, I want to say roughly about $100 million more you have to. Now, I'm not saying he's not going to be good. I'm not saying Daniel Jones can't eventually get out there with the right weapons and play well for the New York Giants. I'm just saying nobody was out there willing to give him anywhere near that. That's like you show up at the car show and like this car is 50 grand and you show up, you go, I'll offer you 120,000 for it. People are like, dude, the car is worth like 50. No one's giving him more than 51,000. Why are you giving him 100 and some? Doesn't make any sense. That's what the New York Giants did. So the question remains is you paid him all that money. Now you can't afford to pay other people. That's a problem. Now that you can't pay other people and you paid him all this money and he wasn't even on the field due to injuries a lot of the time, then they brought in freaking Tommy DeVito. Tommy DeVito, if you guys don't know who Tommy DeVito is, I'm going to bring that in right now. Do you guys think in the chat, do you think Daniel Jones was worth $160 million? Like, do you think he was overpaid? Obviously, a lot of people do. And this is him right here. I mean, he just is a little dorky to me. Like, he's a good person, I'm sure. A little dorky, right? Like, he's a good person. Reminds me a lot like Eli Manning, which is very dorky, but at the end of the day, Eli was good. Peyton Manning, dorky, but is really good. Maybe they were trying to go down that path and try to mimic what they've had in the past, which is probably what they were doing. I mean, if you take a look at it, went to Duke, he played well, but nothing to be going crazy about. But again, Daniel Jones, a lot of money. Was he worth that kind of money? I don't believe so. But now, next conversation I want to say is, when will the Giants' rebuilding phase come to an end? Like, that's a question I got. When will the New York Giants be like, hey, look, we've been rebuilding for a long time now. We've been shitty for a long time. Eli Manning, they went to a Super Bowl. That was great. Ever since then, the New York Giants have been shitty. Being that I'm from New Jersey, they play in New Jersey. If you guys don't realize, they're the New York Giants, but they play in New Jersey, the Meadowlands. I was there for a long time. Obviously grew up there. I went to the New York Giants, had my workouts there. Great facility, a lot of great people. But the concern is when you're rebuilding and then you're rebuilding and we're still freaking rebuilding, there comes a point in time where you go, we're not rebuilding anymore. Like, we're getting the picks and we're winning games. Like, that's what we need to start doing. And they freaking bring in Tommy DeVito. Like, this is your quarterback, Tommy DeVito, and he was winning games. I mean, you know, he was playing okay. It wasn't that he was terrible. We're like, oh, Tommy DeVito, it's not bad. But you're not giving him $160 million. So at the end of the day, you pay all this money. Now you got Tommy DeVito in the game, which is very, very freaking awkward. I'll tell you that. And then you have his agent showing up. He looks like he's from The Sopranos, back from like the freaking mafia. This guy's making phone calls and people are like, what the hell's going on the field right now? Like, we got Tommy DeVito and we got a guy from The Sopranos on the field, right? Like trying to get things done. It's like, who is this guy? Like out of left field. And it's hysterical. Like, this is your agent. And I got to tell you, you kind of can get used to that kind of shit, right? Like, this is your agent making calls for you. Like, Tommy DeVito shows up with a mob agent making calls, literally is walking down the sidelines with a briefcase on the field. You see Tommy DeVito on the field throwing passes. You see his agent strolls down the sideline with a briefcase. It's like, what the hell is going on right now? That is what the freaking New York Giants culture is like. I mean, this is what you're seeing there, and that's a problem. Like, they really have to zone in on who their quarterback's going to be for the long haul. Daniel Jones, did they overpay him? Probably. That's in the past. They got to get moving forward because 4 or 5 years goes by very quickly, especially when he's not on the field. So I'm just saying that's an issue. If you're in the chat right now, I appreciate you. A lot of people will start learning again that our morning show is back. Play-by-plays, we get a lot of people in here, and we'll let you guys know. And we'll get through this last topic here as we move forward to the last piece of today's show is the NFC East. Realistic predictions or expectations for 2024. Here's the 4 teams here. You got the Philadelphia Eagles, you got the Dallas Cowboys, you got the New York Giants, and you have the Washington Commanders. Now, I'm looking at the Philadelphia Eagles going, look, you got a lot of opportunities there. If you can just get that offensive line set up with your center, you got some opportunities. You got the same quarterback back. You got Saquon Barkley in the backfield. Focus on those receivers. You got a good opportunity to be top of the division with the Dallas Cowboys. So it's going to be the Dallas Cowboys or the Philadelphia Eagles. Who do you guys got right now in the chat? Who's going to win the NFC East right here? Pick your team in the chat right now. Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, Commanders. Drop it in the chat right now for who you think will win. But here's what I got to say. When you take a look at these teams here, the Eagles and the Cowboys have the most complete team at the moment. Obviously, they're going to be neck and neck to win the division. But without talking about them too much, we'd already talked about Dak Prescott, what he's doing. During the season, we're going to have a lot of people coming on the show, and we're going to have a lot of conversation with Dak Prescott and all kinds of things. But let's go down there and let's say the New York Giants and the Commanders. First off, the New York Giants, how they're operating, what's going on, they'll be happy to be 500. If they come out and they're a little bit less than 500, it's going to be understood. People aren't going to like it. New York fans aren't going to like it. Giants fans aren't going to like it. But if they're 500 through the season, you see them at 1.8-8, people are going to be like, Giants playing pretty good for what's going on. But they can't continue that. They're going to start losing fans at this point. And then the Washington Commanders. I already told you, being that their name is the Washington Commanders, I'm already losing respect for the team just because I hate that name. I love a lot of players on the team. Great receivers there. Went to my hometown area, went to school. We're going to have him on the show. Receiver for the Commanders. We're going to have him on the show. That's going to be great. But at the end of the day, the Washington Commanders, they're another team. If they can go 500, people are like, okay. They don't want to. Out in D.C., they're not going to be happy with that situation. But at the end of the day, if they can at least go 500, people will be happy with the Washington Commanders at least going 500, which is still terrible at best right now. But at the end of the day, these are the teams in the division right now. Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, and the Commanders. And I'm going to call them Redskins. I don't give a shit. If you're in here right now, smash that like button right freaking now. I want to have this last piece of the conversation with you guys as I pull this up. We got a lot of things to talk about. We're going to be doing NFL, obviously, every single day. As the season starts, it gets freaking hype. Right now, a lot of people are kind of jumping in, jumping out because the NFL season is back for us, for me, for you guys, but it's not back for the TV yet. So a lot of people are just looking at stuff on the internet a little bit. As the season starts, we're doing the play-by-plays. There's going to be thousands of people in our, obviously, live play-by-play show during the games. We're going to start with the first preseason game live on here, play-by-plays. We got marketing. We got a lot of people coming in, thousands of people, and obviously some guests. So we're going to do a lot of marketing. A lot of sponsors are coming in. And then, obviously, I'll be telling people about our morning show as it gets started. All those football fans will start joining us here in the morning show. So we're just getting started, getting things lined up, getting all the energy set up. Everybody that's in here right now, I appreciate you. Just so you can see what's going on with the morning show, what it looks like, how it's operating. We're going to have people sitting in here with me in the booth, but also they're going to be calling in through the Zoom calls. We're setting those up right now. As they come in, you're also going to be allowed and able to communicate with them. They're going to have a headset on like I do here, a little earpiece. And as you talk, we're going to call you in and you can have full conversation and live audio in that position as well. So I appreciate you guys. I'm taking a look at the chat right now. I see everybody that's coming in. I appreciate you. Brian, the house, Rahanis, how you doing? Pitbull Mama, how are you doing? Candy, let's go. Everybody that's coming into the chat right now, I greatly appreciate you guys. It's been great to jump. Miss Lex, how you doing? CF is the bill. Devon, Brittany, I appreciate you guys coming here this morning, having a good time, bullshitting with me, getting a chance. Annie, how you doing? Getting a chance to see how the morning show actually operates. It's just what we do here live on our morning broadcast. And the NFC East division here to end the show today. The Philadelphia Eagles, Saquon Barkley, what they went through, why he left. As you can see, it's pretty obviously financially, but I'm looking forward to this season. I can't wait for the first preseason game. We're going to be live to get started, to get the culture rolling. I know a lot of people watch preseason. Some people don't, or some people just watch the first quarter so you can see some starters play. We're going to get that rocking and rolling right away so you guys can see immediately the first preseason game. We're doing all night games. So if there's only one game, we're hitting that game. But if there's a night game, that's the game we're doing. Just so you guys know, you understand, there's going to be thousands of people coming in. I'll be able to communicate with you guys as we get going. But the first preseason game will be the night game of that day. If it's Sunday, it's the night game of that day. And you will see it broadcasted on here. I'll send you reminders. Obviously, we'll go to your email. And then we have Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday Night Football play-by-plays, live hanging out, watching the games, which I'm freaking excited about because all you guys get a chance to hang out and bullshit, have some drinks. Right now I'm sipping my coffee because it's in the morning. And we flip the script. We take this freaking button up off, put the backwards hat on, and get started hanging out because we're chilling in the zone for the NFL season and the games. I'm excited about that. You guys better be also, because there's going to be a lot of people coming in, hanging out. And we're going to start our marketing, so you'll see all the people joining us for our morning show. If you haven't yet, tell your friends, tell your family to jump on with us in the mornings at 10 o'clock, 9:55. Jump in here. We start having conversation, and 10 o'clock starts the countdown. I greatly appreciate you guys. I appreciate you coming in, having a good time as we're getting started with the kickoff, letting people know that we're live in the morning. People don't know yet. We're going to start that, obviously, so people can get out here all through social media. I greatly appreciate you guys. It is Wednesday. It's hump day. Get out there and enjoy it. Get where you got to get. Take your time. Have patience. I'm going to tell you something. I watched a little clip this morning. This guy was talking on. He was a bum on the street, and he was recorded. And he said, look, have patience where you're going because you're going to get there regardless. Just take your time. Have patience. Don't rush yourself. You rush yourself, you get there, you don't even appreciate the journey. It's all about the journey of where you're going, but how you got there, that makes it awesome. That means everybody in here right now, as we're getting started, and people don't even know our morning show's going yet, you guys in here right now, this is the journey that's awesome. As you get down the road, and we have thousands of people in here, which you guys saw during the freaking NFL the NBA play-by-plays. As you see right now, this is the journey of what we're doing. Like what you're seeing in the chat right now, this is the journey of our show. This is the journey. When you see thousands of people in here, I remember the people that are in the chat right now. This is the journey of what we're doing. We have a lot of people that are going to start joining us. Mahi's in the building. Thank you for coming in. I greatly appreciate you. We just got toward the end of our show. The conversation topic was all about Saquon Barkley, the truth of why he freaking left the Giants and went to the Eagles. And then now we had to finish up with the New York Giants as well, with Daniel Jones. Got paid all that money. Was it worth it? Tommy DeVito with the crazy agent coming in, walking on the sidelines, and the NFC division of conversation. I appreciate you guys. It is Wednesday. It's hump day. Enjoy the rest of your day. And remember, tomorrow, 9:55, get on here in the morning, because as people start coming in here, we got a lot of opportunities. I'm doing some giveaways. We're going to be spinning that wheel. If you're in here right now, everybody throw the dice in the chat as we exit for today's show. Throw the dice in the chat. Drop an emoji in the chat, your favorite emoji in the chat, whatever you need. And Pitbull Mama, I have to email you today. I got an update of what was sent to you and the tracking. I actually know where the package is at. That's going out to you. Mile High, we got something for you. And we got all these freaking shirts that are coming. Everybody in the Mesa Mob, I greatly appreciate you guys. Get ready for what's happening, because when the guests jump on here and they're hanging out, you are going to see thousands of people hanging out with us. And I will not forget the people that are joining us from the very freaking beginning. I greatly